been a part of you all for years, and it's wonderful to be able to bring programming online. So thank you, MJ, Elsa, the team, Lucy, Rebecca, Josh, so many people at YNPN who make this possible. So thank you for today. And so many of you have joined us online. Very exciting. Thank you for taking the time. And we promise this will be a fruitful presentation. It's a very step-by-step things that you can implement immediately. Some of them maybe during the training, but definitely immediately after the training to help boost your LinkedIn profile. During this COVID time, I know a lot of us are taking a moment to think about what our careers mean, what our jobs mean, the roles that we have. And as we come out of COVID and out of this hibernation, who are we and what do we want to put out there into the world? Updating your LinkedIn profile and utilizing it to connect with others is definitely a resource that you have. And so today's webinar will help you optimize your LinkedIn profile. So the way we're going to do this is I have all the participants on mute. It's also a recorded session that we will share after. And I'm going to be doing a screen share. So here we go. And I'm going to presentation mode. All right. So hopefully you can all see the screen. Can a couple of you give me a thumbs up if you can, or type in the box to let me know that you see the screen? Okay. Elsa, was that a thumbs up?
Yes. Yes,
great.
I see it.
Wonderful. So I'm going to go to full screen mode now. Now, hopefully, many of you have LinkedIn profiles set up already, and some of you are using it in different ways. This is really going to be a quick overview of the top things that you should be doing with your LinkedIn site today. So the things that we will talk about are how LinkedIn positions you and your professional brand. It is a kind of a personal journey and reflection that you'll have to take. From there, we'll then talk about the specific things that you must do to enhance your profile. Make sure that that first impression really counts and represents you well. Next step would be diving a little deeper in how you can use LinkedIn to position yourself as a go-to person, as someone that people would want to connect with because of the industry you're in, the expertise you bring, or the passions that you have. And finally, utilizing that resource to truly engage with the people that you know or to make some new contacts. So why did we choose LinkedIn? There are so many platforms we could be working on. The truth is, LinkedIn is still the big whale when it comes to professional connections online. They have over 500 million members. And the other thing to note is that they not just have a large number of members. These are the influencers. These are the people who are managers, supervisors, senior leaders, executive leaders. They are senior level influencers. And when we're in this field of trying to advance our careers and make connections that make a meaningful difference in our lives, we want to be interfacing with decision makers. So LinkedIn is still that platform to do that, at least online, and then helping to use this tool to bridge it offline. The way we're structuring our why for this training is we want folks to be able to find you. If they are in a similar industry, if they're looking for a specific skill set, a professional to connect with, we want your site to be visible, your LinkedIn profile to be searchable. It's also a place where people go to validate. A lot of times, websites are not a place where people are going to necessarily find you organically. LinkedIn, we're going to show you some tips where people can find you organically, but it's also a place where folks who have met you already, have heard of you, or actually know you, they go there to validate, oh, what is this person about? And what are they doing now? What have they done in the past? It's a way for them to validate that you, in fact, are somebody they want to continue to connect with. And finally, it's a place for them to actually reach out to you. So we want to position you as a person who has a set of skills or interests and is connectable, as well as making sure your page is set up to welcome people to connect with you. So I wanted to kick off with the personal brand first, because a lot of times when it comes to these social media sites, we want to dive in and just start posting. Actually, that's kind of my approach too. I don't spend a lot of time curating very complex marketing calendars or communication calendars. Mine's quite high level. But before you dive right in and start posting, I encourage you to take a minute to think about, what is my personal brand? What do I want to put out there into the world about my professional brand that really represents who I am? And we don't need to overthink this. I'm not asking you to think about what your 10-year career vision is and where you want to be 15 years from now. But I don't want your LinkedIn page or your resume to simply be a time capsule of where you've been. I want your personal brand on LinkedIn to really show genuinely who you are, what you care about. For me, I really love people. I just think people's stories, how we interact, how we come together to get stuff done, that's really important to me. And so collaboration across different types of people and groups, whether it's corporate or nonprofit education systems, that's really important to me. So when you look at my page, that comes across. I'm not just any type of business strategist or coach. I'm really about helping good people be able to provide really awesome services and programs in this world. So that's what I'm about, and hopefully you'll see that in my personal brand on LinkedIn. And as a note, again, I don't want this just to reflect where you've been in the past. Really think about where you're trying to go. Is there another industry you're breaking into because you've had a previous experience and you loved that? You realized, you know, I worked at a summer camp and I realized that's where I want to be. I want to be in the great outdoors. I want to work with youth. Is that really front and center on your LinkedIn page, right? If you just talk about the banking job you've had for the last 15 years and you neglect to really make that summer experience rise up to the top, folks are going to continue to know you as the banker versus the youth worker, right? So that's just a quick example. Make sure that if there are places in your life where you've had a chance to be able to say, these experiences really encapsulate where I'd like to head next, make sure that you don't forget to put that on your LinkedIn page, and don't be shy to make it a little bit more prominent. For some of you who are making some career pivots, it can be a little difficult to showcase a completely different side of you that isn't your core professional experience. Feel free to reach out to me afterwards, and I've helped a lot of people with making that career pivot or telling their story that just feels a little different from where they are at now. So throughout this LinkedIn, all of the step-by-step to-dos that I'm going to give you to update your LinkedIn page, always remember your personal brand in the background. Just kind of keep that in mind as you update your posts and your profile. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about how to update your LinkedIn profile. These are the key things that you should definitely have on your list of to-dos if you have not already. You may already have it set up, but after today, I think it's a great time to look at it again with a fresh set of eyes and make some updates. So we'll be talking about ensuring that you have a professional headshot. I'll just tackle this one right here. I want you to have a headshot that fully shows your face, your eyes, right? Pull that hair back, right? And be confident. Sit up tall. Make sure you have really great lighting, lighting up your face so that we can really see you. And a lot of folks like to put action shots in it. Be a little bit careful with those. Like you might be at the farm working with animals because that is your profession, but make sure that you are showcasing you and maybe the animals further in the background. But we want to make sure it really looks professional and has that nice, polished first impression. So yes, of course, showcase who you are, but make sure it's a nice, clean, professional headshot. So the other 4 bullet points, I will have very specific examples. So you can see the different types of options that you have to update your headline, the summary in the About section of your LinkedIn profile, the professional accomplishments that you've achieved in each of your jobs, and how to ask for and give recommendations. So I'm going to show you a few examples of each so that you can think about what the different options are and how you may want to update your profile after this training. All right. So I'm going to open one thing here just so I can see. All right. So these are 3 screenshots of 3 completely different types of headlines. You see mine first. Mine is very clean. It's kind of classic. It shows my title, and then it shows a few of the different roles that I play professionally. I want folks to look and see immediately the type of work that I do. I love Emily's profile here. Oh, by the way, I'm grabbing screenshots from some of my favorite professionals in the field, so feel free to take a note. If you want to connect with them, let me know, and I'd be happy to introduce you. But these are some really wonderful professionals. You'll see in the following pages from the YNPN connections I've made as well. But Emily is a happiness coach, and she helps folks find jobs that really make them happy. So in her headline, she actually gives you a sense of what the outcome is if you engage with her, which is really, really smart. So think about your headline could simply be like mine, talk about the title and the types of work you do, or it could be an impact statement. If you work with me, this is the type of results I can help you find. Or Rodney, the third example, he gives a real sense of what his career impact has been. It really has the wow factor there. So if there's something in your career that you've done that really showcases the impact that you can have and that you are really proud of it, don't be shy to put it there front and center. There's a lot of great keywords in each of these three profiles. Don't forget to make sure that as you think about your personal brand, what were some of those keywords that kept coming up for you? And make sure that you are putting them on your LinkedIn profile, starting with your headline. The second option to put these keywords is in your summary. The summary is in the About section. These are 3 screenshots of different About summaries. They're a little small. You should be able to zoom in on your Zoom interface here and to be able to read them a little more clearly if you would like. But there are 3 really different ways to talk about yourself. All of them use keywords, so I like these examples. Brian Rosenbaum, former president of YNPN LA, amazing. I don't know if there's anything Brian cannot do. So in his very succinct About section here, he has really tackled a lot of good keywords. Feel free to make it short and sweet. We are in an internet age where folks don't want to spend a lot of time online. So if they can get a sense of who you are in just a snap, wonderful. Put up that succinct summary of you. Well, let's take a look at Richard. Richard is a director that I so respect. He's a founder of a nonprofit organization that helps high schoolers really understand their personal stories, their journey, and share it with the world. So as you can see, Richard's About section is a little different. He actually puts on his storytelling hat to share with the world a little bit more background about who he is and what he's about. So feel free to take that example and make it your own. He also very cleverly added a little line at the bottom that says expertise and then threw in those key words. Again, those key words, I would guess, are focused on what he wants to continue to do more of in the future. It doesn't mire him necessarily in the past expertise that he's engaged. It's more future focused. Now MJ, as you guys heard me say a couple of times on this call already, she's been my partner in crime to set up this webinar, so thank you so much. But MJ, I really like that she not only has a succinct section about what she's about, she includes a short list of specialties. Anytime you can break down a big paragraph of text into a bulleted list is very helpful for the people who are reading it, but also for the robots, for the algorithms on LinkedIn to be able to laser focus on what people should come to you for. So making a list like that is very helpful. Let's tackle the next section of your Facebook profile. This is the big section that a lot of folks are often nervous about. How much information should I put up? How little should I put up? How far back do I go? Do I put short-term jobs that were internships or just interim jobs? How do I position a consulting role? What's really important here is that you provide a chronological sense of what your professional experiences have been. Try your best to not have huge gaps in your resume or your professional section in your LinkedIn profile. If you have large gaps and you're not sure how to deal with those, again, email me, and I am happy to kind of work with you to figure out what we could do in those sections. I'm a big believer that even when people say they have gaps in their resume, they were probably doing something. For example, I have a lot of folks who say, I had to put a pause in my job to help my dad with his business. Or I had to stop and I had 2 kids, but I also worked at a wine bar on the side and I was was their virtual accountant. I helped them do a lot of finance work. Those are valid experiences that we should be able to put on your LinkedIn profile. These are 2 examples of showcasing your professional experience. I'm going to start with Misha's. She's Director of Husbandry, was at the California Science Center when I met her, and is just an amazing supervisor and leader, and so we connected really well. As you see, when I go to her professional experiences, my sense of who she is, it's totally validated by the way she's described herself and her roles and her jobs. So it's really wonderful if, in addition to the place you worked and the title, you can provide a meaty, short paragraph really describing the impact that you've made and the type of work that she likes to do. So sometimes paragraphs are a little hard to write, and some folks can't read a longer paragraph. So Misha's paragraph length is probably the maximum length that I would recommend. I wouldn't go any longer than that. And what happens then if you don't want to write a long paragraph? You can look over to the example that I've provided. The way I position my job is, instead of a longer paragraph, because I chose to have a longer summary, I decided for the actual employment section just to create a bulleted list of the impact that I made, the accomplishments that I had in each of those jobs. One kind of pro tip here, I'll give you 2 pro tips actually. As a recruiter, obviously you want to start at the top. I can't read all bullets really detailed because I'm going through so many resumes or so many LinkedIn profiles. Those first couple of bullets are really important. Really try to make that first bullet some sort of wow or numerical data piece that shows the impact you've made. So whenever possible, percentage growth, number of people served, some impact number. Make that your first bullet. For the second and third bullet, I would prioritize not just the work you did, but again, that future-focused version of you. So maybe you were a supervisor and you spent 75% of your time supervising, and the other 25% of the time you were out in the community doing presentations. And through that job you realized, I love being out in the community, I love public speaking, I like doing marketing and communications. There's no reason you can't put that 25% up to the top. Make that your second bullet. And then your supervisory skills would be your third bullet. So what I'm trying to say is, don't feel locked into what you did before. Really take a moment to think about, what do I want to showcase the world so that they will hire me for the things that I really am passionate about and like doing. So make those, put them up a couple of notches so that recruiters and your colleagues will see that represented of you first. One other opportunity that you can do on your employment section for LinkedIn is, you'll see I have a little video link here. LinkedIn allows you to upload examples of your work in each of your jobs. So you could upload a PDF, you could link to a report, to a news article, or in my case, to news coverage of when I worked at that school district. So it's nice because it breaks up and provides some interactive elements to your employment section. So feel free to utilize that option. All right, so this section here is, if you scroll a little further down into your profile, they offer an opportunity for you to gain recommendations from folks that you've worked with. I have displayed Rena De Assis's recommendation section because she is a rock star when it comes to recommendations. You can see she's received 45 of them and given 3. She's very proactive at the end of a project or in the middle of a collaboration to reach out and ask for folks to provide a recommendation. The number one rule is if you don't ask, you won't receive. So once in a while, maybe put it on your calendar on a quarterly basis or even once a year to remind yourself and take a moment to think, what have I worked on for the past few months? Who have I engaged with? And could I reach out to them and say, hey, you know, I'm trying to update my LinkedIn profile, or I'm trying to get noticed for this kind of work. Would you mind writing a recommendation for me? And of course, offer to write a recommendation for them as well, because hopefully it's a relationship that is reciprocal and that you both enjoyed and had a positive working relationship. These, I have a feeling she not only asked, but she was very specific in terms of why she thought she would like to request a recommendation, because the recommendations are very specific. They are not generic. They're not simply, oh, she's wonderful, I enjoyed working with her, what a nice gal. They actually go in and talk specifically about what they worked with her on. So when you make a recommendation, don't be shy to provide a few bullets or a few examples to say, hey, would you mind featuring this as you make a recommendation? It makes it so much easier to write a recommendation for someone when they give you a few prompts. So before we leave the LinkedIn profile section, I just threw a lot at you. I kind of gave it to you in order of priority. So as we talk about your profile picture, your headline, your summary, your job experience, and recommendations, I would recommend that you tackle them in that order. As you update it, also, sometimes we get into kind of individual groupthink. I like to call it groupthink when I'm asking myself, hey, Julie, was that a good idea? Yeah, Julie, that sounds great. In these COVID times, we're all working alone in our offices at home. So make sure that, feel free that you reach out to a friend and say, hey, I've updated my LinkedIn page. Would you mind taking a look and letting me know what you think? It's a great way to show your colleagues that you're thinking, you're being very mindful about how you present yourself in the world. It's a great way to connect with a friend because folks really love being asked for their expertise. So some of my closest confidants, we've become really close friends because we support each other in our career development. And so they help make me better and I help make them better. So I encourage you to find a couple of people that you feel comfortable being vulnerable at that level and that you trust their feedback. All right. So as I said, LinkedIn is the big whale, 500 million users. So how do you break through all of that noise and get noticed? LinkedIn is actually designed so that professionals, recruiters, businesses can go on and really kind of pinpoint the type of person that they are looking for. They have lots of upgrades that you can buy so that you can access those people, and some of that requires a little bit more cash. But even just their free platform for professionals, there's still a great way that you can position yourself as a leader as well as connect with other professionals. So I'm going to give you a few tips now so that you can utilize LinkedIn and its free platform to your fullest. A note before that is to hopefully help us all feel a little better about attacking this is on LinkedIn, there's actually a lot of eyeballs. More senior level professionals, they do go to LinkedIn to find resources and connect with peers when they have questions. When COVID started and everybody had to start working from home and wondering, what do I do with staff? What HR issues may I have? How do I help my employees navigate this really uncertain process that is still ongoing? Leaders were going, and professionals were going to LinkedIn to connect with those type of resources, to find the webinars, to find the publications, the articles that other folks were sharing so that A, you don't feel alone, and B, you get really practical tips. So I just wanted to say it is a source where people go for information. Now here's the kicker. Of the 500 million that are on LinkedIn, only 3 million share on a regular basis. That's nothing. So what does that mean for us? Is if we post, there's a really high chance that our network will see us. If you go online, part of it is LinkedIn is curating the feeds that you feel you respond to the most. So whether it's certain professionals you connect with and you like their comments a lot, they'll continue to show you those. But they're also looking at the types of information that you are interested in. If you are constantly looking at posts and liking posts around marketing or about environmental awareness, they will prioritize that in your feed. But the other thing is there just actually isn't that many people who are posting on a regular basis. So I encourage you to post. You don't have to post every day. LinkedIn's another one of my favorite resources because you don't have that pressure of posting every day. Some of the other social media sites, you do get a lot more impressions if you can post every single day. But remember at the very beginning, I said LinkedIn is also a validation tool. So having your own posts, having your own articles, having some of those links on your job experience that I mentioned earlier, those are all tools that when people come to your site and you previously told them, hey, I'm a fundraising executive or a fundraising director, they'll go to your site and they'll see that not only did you say you're a fundraising professional, you interact with other fundraising professionals, you've posted articles about fundraising. That validates that you are in the fundraising world. So that is one reason why it's not quite enough just to have a strong profile. It is really important to kind of put yourself out there through posts and through articles. So here is a bulleted list. Again, kind of in the order of what I would encourage you to engage in is start light. If you haven't done this a lot yet, start by simply just going through the posts on your homepage and read them. Choose just a couple that look interesting to you, and not only like it or celebrate it, right? You can choose the different types of responses, but also type a very short comment, a meaningful comment to that author. And that connects you to the author, but it also shows the world that you are interested in that subject matter and that you might have something to say. But again, the LinkedIn algorithms, they boost the posts and the comments. So they are trying to track meaningful interaction. Simply scrolling through your homepage isn't going to work, and just liking isn't quite enough. Adding comments really helps, and then share is like the golden ticket. So if you can take someone's post and help share it and continue to amplify it, that really, again, shows high level of engagement. Super easy, right? Just find an article you like that someone has posted, give them a comment on why this is interesting to you, and then if it is something that you feel would be helpful for other people to see, go ahead and share it. All right, so next is kind of the next layer of, it'll take you a little bit of time, a little bit more time, but it's to create a unique post. So starting a post from scratch. There are two ways to do this. One is maybe you were on another newspaper website and you saw an article that was really interesting to you. Maybe it was Stanford Social Innovation Review. And this article just really caught your eye and you thought, wow, what a great set of research here. I really want my colleagues to read about it. So you take that link and you make a post on your site, on your LinkedIn page. When you make a post on your LinkedIn page, the number one thing is making sure you have a good photo. So paste that link into the post and take a look and see how that looks. They should give you a preview. If it doesn't look good, don't use it. Maybe come up with your own photo or download a photo related to that article that was inside the article. So the photo matters. As people are scrolling through, the photos are the first thing that catches their eye. And then the second most important thing is your little comment, right? Just a short and sweet blurb. And then making sure that you're linking to others. And what I mean by that is if Stanford Social Innovation Review wrote that or published that article, go ahead and use the @ sign and make a shout out to Stanford Social Innovation Review, because now they'll see that you are posting theirs and you are now being connected with their very large network. Or maybe you really respect the author. Go ahead and link the author into your post so the author can also see that you respect what they wrote, and they will most likely thank you. So now you're connected to the author's huge network as well. This is also a great time to mention using hashtags. In some social media platforms, hashtags don't really make a huge difference. Like on Facebook, they allow you to use hashtags. They're entertaining. But very few people are using Facebook to go in and actually search a hashtag. LinkedIn is a little different. Hashtag does help. It helps them, it helps them understand some of the keywords of what your article is about. But professionals do go there. Again, when I mentioned COVID hitting and wondering HR resources related to COVID, you could use hashtag HR, hashtag COVID, and actually find articles that may have answers for you. So go ahead and use hashtags in your posts. And then finally, make sure that you are creating, when you are, so the biggest option that you have that is the most time consuming is creating an original article. So LinkedIn, you can actually publish a new article you write directly into LinkedIn. One thing is, I really try to recommend when I'm working with my coachees, do not think of this as a news article that you are posting to the Washington Post. So think of it more as a little blog post. It doesn't have to be all that long. And LinkedIn algorithms have shown that articles that are written in a list form, so ones that sound like, here are 5 top tips for engaging your staff. Those are the types of articles that get the most reads, and it actually makes it so much easier to write. So don't overthink the article. The way I would recommend you start is think about, again, what do you want to be known for? Do you want to be known as a fundraising professional? Do you want to be known as an environmentalist? Do you want to be known as someone who leads collaborations? Just choose 2 to 3 of those topics and take one of them and think about what are the 5 tips that I could provide, being somebody who has experience in that area. So write 5 tips for fundraising during COVID, right? Or 5 ways to make your event, your gala, more interesting and fun for the new generation, right? So, and that just really makes it a lot easier. What I'd like to say is you don't have to post on a regular basis for these articles either. Again, it's a validation tool. They will live perpetually on your website. So anytime on your LinkedIn page, sorry. So when people come to your LinkedIn page, they can go to your articles and they can see, oh, Frank has 3 articles on these topics. Again, this is validating his expertise. I have had 2 coaching clients in the last year who are looking for jobs, had their employers say, we hired you in huge part because you were interested in this topic, and we only knew that because we saw it on your LinkedIn page. So it was actually really amazing to hear that employers are reading, your potential employers are reading these articles, and if it's a topic that really resonates with them, it could really be that booster that helps to get you hired. And then finally, if you are in the market for a job, do turn on job seeking. You have to go to your privacy settings. You scroll all the way down, and it will say, let recruiters find you, right? So you want to turn that to on so that when a recruiter like me comes in and does these search terms, it will not only find you, right, it puts you on a priority list for me to see you. It will say you are open and interested to connecting with me. So please do that to help us. All right, I'm going to go to the next slide. These are some examples of the different types of posts that you can do that I mentioned. On the left-hand side is an example of sharing. So I shared California Community Foundation's post. I put a very short sentence, gave it a couple of hashtags, got 287 views and a few comments. That was great. On the right-hand side, I created an original post, and this time I remembered to include the organization that I was connecting with, so the Lao Assistance Center of Minnesota. And I also included Sunny Chatanavong, who is the executive director there. He has a very large network. And so in a few days, we got over 1,000 views for this post. So note, I'm not positioning the two to say either one is better. It's actually good to have a mix on your page. So some that you're sharing and some that you are creating organically. All right. So this is the section where if this was a live seminar, we would all go on our laptops, open our LinkedIn profile, and actually talk to each other and kind of ask each other what we like or what we would like to change on our page. It's also a time where we would take a selfie or take some pictures with each other and actually post it to LinkedIn. It's a great way to connect with new people. So today I would like to invite you to either right after this training or later on today to create something about this training, or go to your homepage and find an article that you really like someone else has posted and repost it. Commit to doing one thing that is out of your norm, right? So if you already post lots of events on your LinkedIn page, take it to the next step. Take some time to think about what might be some topics I might want to write an article about. But for some people who are not posting, right, just simply screenshotting what you see here and or downloading the picture from the LinkedIn from the YNPED website featuring this training, just take a baby step. That's really what this slide is about. Is think about what would be your next step to elevating your engagement on LinkedIn. What I'm going to commit to is right after this training, I'm going to put a post and do a shout out to all of my friends and YNPN colleagues who have helped to put on this training. And a big shout out to my friends who are on this call. I'm so glad that you were here, and hope everyone is enjoying this webinar so far. But I'll try to do a shout out on LinkedIn to you, and please feel free to tag your other friends who are on this call as well. All right, so this is, we're getting really close to the end of the webinar, but this is perhaps some of the most juicy parts of it. It's about really connecting with people. And the first step that you can take to make sure you are connecting with your network on LinkedIn is to actually connect with the people you already are connected to, right? Easy peasy. So how do we do that? In LinkedIn, I'm going to show you how to do this on the next slide as kind of a step-by-step, how to import your existing email contacts, and then how to use them to search for specific people that you might want to connect with. And one shout-out here is, remember, it's about relationship building first. So many people that I talk to about how they can network better or reach out to folks on LinkedIn or social media is they oftentimes have the end game in mind. So they want that job. They want to be a public speaker. They want to invite someone to be a partner for a project. And so they skip directly to the end. Don't do that. Remember, it's relationships first. When you reach out to that person, show them genuinely that you care about them and their work. Show them why you are interested. It doesn't have to be long, just a quick sentence saying, hey, I saw that you spoke at this event. That topic is really interesting to me because I'm also doing that kind of work over here. I'd love to do a Zoom meeting with you sometime. Let's connect, right? So you're developing the relationship before you are making the ask and asking something of them. All right, so let's get back to the technical way to connect with your contacts. I did some screenshots here because it can be difficult to find on LinkedIn. So you'll want to first go to the top right and click on My Network. And then you'll see a page come up, and on the left-hand side, it'll show you a short list of your connections and your contacts. Connections are folks that have given the thumbs up that they want you to connect with them. Contacts are simply emails that you have uploaded into the LinkedIn system. So what we want to do here is you'll see that my contacts list is larger than my connections. So there are people that I can still invite to be a part of my LinkedIn network. So what you'll want to do is you'll see on the right-hand side, there's a button there that says Add More. You want to click on that list, and a little window will pop up asking you where you want to add more from. Do you want to add more from your desktop list of contacts? Do you want to upload from your Google contacts, the emails that you have in Gmail, or from Outlook? They give you a few options. And I think some social media platforms too, so if you want to upload your Facebook contacts. So click that button, and I think most recently I added my Gmail contacts, and then they'll give you an opportunity to either send out an invitation to everyone, or you can actually search by some keywords, and maybe you just want to reach out to folks who are in the political activism space. So you look for community organizers and see which of your friends have that title or have that keyword in their profile, and just send an invite to them. So I would actually recommend that you invite as many people as possible. So you start wide, and it's up to them then if they want to connect with you and accept your invite. But where you really want to start curating your network is after they've connected with you. You want to go to the search bar on the top left here and type in those keywords. So maybe I am thinking about my next job, but I'm not quite sure what specific industry I want, right? And maybe I'm really interested in the education system, but it's a little scary for me because I'm not a teacher by trade. So maybe I want to then reach out to folks who are education directors. So I'd put that in the search bar, education director, and it would pop up a list of all the people that I know, plus some. That's the great thing that LinkedIn does, is they don't only show you your first level connections, they also show you your second and third level. It might be too many people. It might be overwhelming. You don't want to email all of them. So obviously prioritize your first level connections, and you can even hit the filter button. When you hit the filter button, they will give you more options. Such as only show my first level connections. Maybe you feel like you've exhausted that list and you actually want your second level, so you could just click that button and just see that list. Other filters that I often use are numbers of years of experience. So I want to talk to somebody who maybe is a little more advanced in their career. How did they become an education director? So I want to click something that shows that there's an option to show this person has been in the field longer, or they're a more senior professional, and I'll look to really start to curate that list and filter that list so that I can start reaching out to some folks and make those connections. Ooh, great. So we are at the end of the seminar, and I am so excited that you all were able to join us. But before we leave, as I've mentioned, please do not hesitate to email me at any time to ask about, if you just want a quick set of eyeballs on your LinkedIn profile, I'm happy to take a look. Please connect with me and YNPN on LinkedIn. But I wanted to also, if you are in a position where you're about to maybe do a career shift, or you feel like you're kind of stuck and you're known for this thing, but you really want to start making headway into this other level for your career, I can try to help get you unstuck. As somebody who's been in the nonprofit and leadership coaching and recruiting world for 20 years. That's the type of work I love to do. I love to take your experiences and help you curate it, find the stories that you are really proud of, and give you the confidence to put yourself out there into the world. And so today I'd like to give a free giveaway to somebody who is at that stage in their career who would like a more thoughtful support. So it would be a free resume review as well as a LinkedIn profile review. So all you have to do to get this is just to email me. So email me at julie@leadershipsavvy.com and just tell me a little bit about where you are in your career and why you feel a little bit stuck or the type of help you'd like to receive from me. And I'm giving up to 3 away. So by the end of today, I'm sure they'll be gone. But please email me, and the first 3 people who seem really interested, I'm happy to provide this for you as a free resource. So I'm going to pass it over to YNPN again. And if you have any questions, email me or feel free to type it in this little screen here. You all have been wonderful. Thank you for being with us today.